You're listening to The Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9 in Tuscaloosa.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Isaac Lowenkron.
There were two 50-point games on Wednesday night in the NBA. Milwaukee's Giannis Antetokounmpo scored 59 in their 127-120 overtime win over the Detroit Pistons. He also had 14 rebounds and 7 assists. Victor Wembanyama of the San Antonio Spurs had the first 50-point game of his career in their 139-130 win over Washington. He scored his 50 points in just 32 minutes, including 8 three-pointers. LeBron James had a triple-double in the Los Angeles Lakers' 128-123 win over the Memphis Grizzlies. The Cleveland Cavaliers became the 6th team in NBA history to open a season 13-0, thanks to a 114-106 victory at Philadelphia. And Kobe White of the Chicago Bulls made 3 clutch free throws with 3 seconds remaining for a 124-123 win over the New York Knicks at Madison Square Garden.
Alabama 1st and 10 on the 12. Again, Houston. He's got a hole. He's over. Alabama touchdown.
I'm just wondering if your listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember when we came to summer and you were playing fullback up there. And I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. And you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to recruit you, and our running back coach didn't take the test. biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier, powered by Fox Eye Care. It is the Thursday edition of the show, so we've got recruiting, a lot of news coming in. There's been some flips. There's been a flip. There might be more flips, positive and negative, for Bama. We'll take an in-depth look at Bray Hubbard, Jalen Milroe's record-setting night, Bama's most complete game. We'll take a look around the nation, the college football playoff picture, Bama hoops, SEC fines, and more.
All right. Thank you for getting up and Adam with us this morning. I see we already got a couple callers lined up, so we'll get Xavier's initial thoughts, and then we'll work you in into the conversation, and you can get in on the conversation by joining us on the Empowerment Strategies and Solutions Hotline at 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904, or on the live stream chat on Facebook, The Martin Houston Show. We'd love to have you join us and put your comments there as well. Remember that this is the day that the Lord has made, so let's rejoice, be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. Take it away, Ax.
All right, so Bama recruiting. If you haven't heard, 5-star wide receiver Caleb Cunningham out of the state of Mississippi flipped yesterday from the Crimson Tide to Ole Miss. He gave a reasoning, and he said he's looked at what Ryan Williams has done here at Bama and what he's done representing his home state in home state school. He said that's part of the reason he wants to do the same at Ole Miss.
Yeah, right.
As far as this like being a hit, it's a hit for the class because, you know, you never want to lose a 5-star. You never want to lose any player that's been committed to the program for a while, especially about a month before National Signing Day. But Bama's really deep at the wide receiver position because unless somebody transfers out, every single wide receiver on this 2024 team has the opportunity to be back for 2025. So all of these guys have experience. Right?
No eligible guys are having a season that would make me think any of them would leave.
Exactly. And then everybody else is really true freshmen or redshirt freshmen this year. When you stop and look at it, you have Bernard, Law, and Prentice as the eligible guys, and then everybody else from that you've seen in the rotation at all, from Ryan Williams starting to Cole Adams and Caleb Odom. That's another true freshman.
We lost Xavier's volume there. Not coming.
Bama's really deep. Bama's really deep at that position. It's a big loss, but it's not as big as some people might perceive it to be. But I'll go ahead and hit the other negative. I'll hit the other negative, and then I'll talk about the positives. There are reports that Dawson Merritt, 4-star edge rusher out of Kansas, is potentially going to flip to Nebraska. That was the school that people said it was second on his list. So that's the second potential negative flip for Bama.
Yeah, and like you say, and I'm not the guy to badmouth a kid, because we were excited when we got Caleb Cunningham. But I did, after I heard that, I did talk to someone, and they said that someone went to see him play recently and said he got shut down. And they did say part of it was his quarterback's inability to get him the ball, but the other part was that they just shut him down, and he was not able to get it open as much. So either way, though, quick question, and then I'll let you get to the two so we can get to a couple callers. Does this potentially now make what's his name, Derek Smith? Does this make him a potential now to Alabama at the position he always wanted to play?
I'm going to have to say no. And the reason I'm going to say no is yesterday, his brother, the 6'6" wide receiver, Eric Smith, committed to Auburn.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What does that mean? That there's 3 games left, and you start looking at how bad the shape Auburn's program's in, you have to start thinking. So, but they may be a package deal too. So, and I doubt Alabama goes in that route with the pool that they have.
Yeah. So that I doubt it, but you never know what could happen. We've seen crazy here take place. But on a positive note, Alabama does have 4-star wide receiver who is currently committed to Florida, Nashawn Montgomery, out of Miami, 6'1", 165, coming to Bama this weekend for a visit. That's a potential flip watch, and it's just interesting with all of this coinciding at the same time. So, and the wide receiver that Alabama has normally had success with, Nashawn, fits that mold a little bit more than Caleb Cunningham does. So that's a lookout with the things that's been going down in Gainesville. This flip, Alabama does only have one wide receiver to commit now in this class, in Luxier Brooks. So Nashawn might be that second guy. And the second flip potential is a guy that Bama has not let up on recruiting, and that is Ivan Taylor, safety out of Winter Garden, Florida. He is currently committed to Michigan. He'll be back in town for a visit this week. I think this weekend as well. So eyes out on him. He's been flat out predicted to flip to Bama. So that's something to keep an eye on. And Ivan Taylor is the son of former Pittsburgh Steelers cornerback Ike Taylor. So keep an eye out on him and Montgomery this coming up week as potential flips to Bama. So we had some negative, but we got some positive as well.
All right. Let's go get the callers.
All right. We've got Pat joining us on the Empowerment and Strategy Solutions Hotline. How you doing this morning, Pat?
Good morning, guys. I'm not going to badmouth a young man that I heard those same things you did, Martin, that he's having that he's not the wide receiver that his star ranking says he is. But I think Lane's been meddling. I think Lane's been meddling. Oh yeah. But no, man.
Let me throw this out to you, Pat. Who's most likely to coach him, DeBoer or Kiffin? If he goes to Ole Miss or Alabama, which one of those guys is most likely to be his coach?
Probably DeBoer.
Yeah, absolutely. You think Kiffin? Everybody talking about RS Sport asked, does the success that Ole Miss currently have on the field make them more formidable foe on the recruiting trail? Yes and no. The reality of it is, you think Lane Kiffin is going to stay at Ole Miss if he's able to replicate the success he's had this year? If he's able to do that, I think that you're going to see him at one of these other schools before long.
All right, now next question. Matt X, does DeBoer now put on the full court press on Decorian Moore, and that because I mean we got somebody in Decorian Moore's ear every cotton picking day. His quarterback's telling him, "Come play with me. Come play with me."
No, I don't think so, because I don't think we've actually pushed for more at all. Like, he hasn't been on a visit or anything. Excuse me. Now, that doesn't mean things can't change. I think Nashawn Montgomery is the guy that Alabama is going to push for at that wide receiver position. But, and Pat, let me mention this, because I did mention it. This move might negatively affect the team just down south from us, because there's been a couple of predictions put in that their quarterback commit might be flipping to Ole Miss because of this. Because him, Deuce Knight, Auburn's quarterback commit, and Caleb Cunningham are extremely tight.
And he's from Mississippi.
As well.
Yeah. But, hey, but one other question, though, about on the recruiting trail, that guy down there in Elba, Alabama, is now up to 10,200 yards, give or take a yard. 10,200 yards. You hear me? I don't care if you're running against air, that's still a whole bunch.
Well,
Alvin Henderson. For people out there that don't listen, the audience that don't know, Alvin Henderson is his rare air.
Yeah, hey Pat, he had 10 touchdowns last week, and they lost by 2. That has to hurt, man.
Still, hey, Pat, Martin, that was several weeks ago, Martin. You used a little bit.
Not last week, but they reported it this week. They were talking about it because he went over the 10,000 yard mark when they got beat 80-78. And like I said, he had, I think, 40 carries for 400 and something yards. He's a really good back, and I think I would be shocked if he flips from Auburn, but I'm gonna go ahead and start claiming him. My mom's maiden name was Henderson, so he has some of my blood in him. I'm gonna go, even though it's not true. I'm gonna go ahead and claim him back.
All right, we'll let somebody else talk. But I'm still depressed about losing a 5-star. I don't care what anybody says. Hey, y'all have a great day. Hey, bye-bye.
All right, yeah. X, we're gonna go ahead and claim Elba's superstar as Blood by name. Cuz by name
as many brothers that Meemaw had, ain't no telling.
Yeah. For those who don't know, my mom was one of 27 kids. So I got a lot of relatives that I do not know. So it's very possible that he could be related. But anyway, we'll be back on the other side. You listen to the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier, powered by Box Eye Care. Hey, listen, Martin Houston Real Estate is the home of the $2,500 move bonus or 1% discount on commission. So if you're listing your home, selling it, my team and I, Realty One Group, can assist you with that, and you can get that discount. Or if you're looking to buy a home, we can do the shopping for you, make sure that you get what you're looking for, and excuse me, and you can get up to a $2,500 move bonus there. All you need to do is email Martin Houston Real Estate, martinhoustonrealestate@gmail.com, and then I'll follow up with you and we'll get that set up for you. We'll be back on the other side to keep the conversation rolling right here on your home for Alabama Sports Talk 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Good morning to you and happy Thursday. Well, we're not looking at any severe delays at this point, at least not quite right now. I do see where McFarland is slowing down just a skosh, and that is in the eastbound lanes just before Bill George Road. Otherwise, traffic on 3.
There are thousands of kids who've been waiting over a year. End their wait. Sponsor a child with compassion today. Just text the word radio to 83393.
Got timberland in West Alabama or East Mississippi? North River Timber Company has you covered. Since 2011, Courtney White, a registered forester, along with his expert team, have been managing timberland and harvesting timber across 4 West Alabama counties. They offer comprehensive timber management plans, reforestation services, and appraisals. Courtney White says timber is like money in the bank. Don't let your investment
up or enjoy free shipping to your home on purchases over $25. Your new Academy Sports and Outdoor store is located at 4610 U.S. Highway 280 in Birmingham.
Hey, I'm Martin Houston, and I want to tell you about exciting news happening at Box Eye Care. They've moved to their new location, bringing you a brand new lab, stylish new frames, and a fresh look just for you. Enjoy their expanded frame inventory, competitive prices, and faster service, all with the same great level of service you've come to know and trust. Discover this full-service eye care at Box Eye Care's new location. With their in-house lab, they offer unbeatable value and one of the largest frame collections in town. Schedule your eye exam today and walk out with new glasses in less than an hour in most cases. Visit boxeyecare.com. That's boxeyecare.com, or call 205-342-0660. That's 205-342-0660. Visit them at 5003 Oscar Baxter Drive. That's Box Eye Care. Your vision, our priority.
Keep it locked into Tide 100.9 for more of the Martin Houston Show with Martin Houston and X's and O's Sports, Xavier Houston.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier, powered by Box Eye Care. Hey, don't forget to check out North River Timber Company, North River Timber Company, LLC, timber harvesting, appraisals, and land management. Courtney White and Chase Pearson, they're there to serve you. They've been doing this for 11 years and counting, and they will take care of you whether it's West Alabama or East Mississippi. That's North River Timber CO at gmail.com. Courtney White says having timberland is like having money in the bank. Call Courtney at 205-242-5127. That's Courtney White, 205-242-5127.
All right, welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. We just got finished talking recruiting. We're going to go ahead and get back to the phone lines as we have Alan waiting. How are you doing this morning, Alan?
Hey, good morning. I mean, I was in I was in Gainesville this week, and it seems to be, on the talk radio down there, they are pushing for that coach to get fired. But I mean, a lot of talk was Lane Kiffin was on their short list. If Kiffin got down there to a team like Florida, I mean, it would be very interesting. Very interesting.
The only thing, Alan, is two things. Florida will not put the money behind their program, so Kiffin. I don't think Kiffin would go unless he got the commitment like Alabama gave Saban. Florida's facilities and everything are still way behind. They've had issues with their collective making promises and not coming through. There's been, of course, the one major lawsuit where the kid never actually ended up playing, but they've had others that claim that they're making promises that they're not coming through on. So I think that Florida has some bigger issues, and I think that's why you saw the AD come out and say, because I think Napier's a good coach. I think Florida has some issues that they're going to either have to decide what they're going to do or they're going to become more irrelevant. But, he came out last week and said that, which sometimes means that's the death approval, but he did say that they would retain him for next year. And was that a business decision, meaning I understand that I'm going to be signing kids here in a few weeks? And that's what coaches don't realize and players don't realize. They may have said this so that they can get these kids to sign. And then the week after, they let him go, and then they'd rather fight a kid who signed versus trying to keep him from signing with somebody else initially. I don't know which one it is, but he did get the vote of confidence, which sometimes means the vote of death.
Wait, that doesn't necessarily work anymore, because what happened when Bama, when Saban retired? You fired the coaches the same.
But remember, Saban's was after everybody else had roster had closed. So if they do it early, then you can at least go back and get some guys too. That's what hurt Bama. Only guys Bama could get were guys who were already in the portal. They couldn't go to somebody else's roster.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So even if they waited till after the window closed, once you fire the coach, it opens back up. It's the same as if a coach retires.
But you rather and Alan, we're having a conversation while you're listening. You would rather be fighting for a kid who is signed with you than to come out today and say we're firing our coach, or have the questions out there and then kids don't sign because the other 130 schools are going, why would you go to Florida? Their coach isn't going to be back. So you rather get a kid to sign the early signing period and then fight to keep him than to try to recruit him for the next 4 weeks till signing day. Because it's a lot easier to keep a kid who's signed with you than it is to hold on to a kid that's not signed with you, that's being recruited by Ole Miss and Georgia and Florida and everywhere, because they've already filled their roster, right? Yeah. They've already filled their roster, and you've now got a signature. If you do it now, they may drop a kid that they have for one of your kids. That's what I meant. Yeah. Go ahead, Alan. Sorry.
Okay.
My other question was this. Now, we know Alabama, with Alabama's schedule right now, we know they should win out. We know they should win out the next 3 games easily. But you don't never know about Alabama-Auburn game. That's a toss-up, but, we should beat Auburn.
But it's here. So I like our chances better.
I do too. I like. As long as Thorne's quarterback, and I even like him even better then. So, but my question, okay, where does that put Alabama as far as the SEC championship, and where does that put Alabama as far as the 12-team, as far as the 12-team field?
Okay, so Alan, as of right now, the SEC championship game would be Texas and Tennessee. They both have one loss in conference. Everybody else has 2. Well,
Okay.
Alabama's sitting third, though, with the strength of schedule and the tiebreakers. If Tennessee were to lose to Georgia this weekend, which is becoming a higher probability as Nico Imaliava is in concussion protocol and doesn't look like he's going to be playing Saturday. Georgia wins, right? Yeah.
Correct.
Georgia wins. Texas is still, until they play, they don't really have another game that they have to worry about until Texas A&M. Alabama moves into the number 2 spot. So if Georgia wins Saturday and we win out and everybody else wins out the way that it's predicted, it'll be Texas and Alabama.
Okay. Now you're saying that. Okay, let's say now I'm going to throw another wrench in there. Suppose Alabama loses to Texas in the championship game. Does a 3-loss Alabama team get in?
I think so.
From what I've seen, you got to remember Alabama's going to move up a little bit from where they're sitting. So Tennessee's in front of us. They would drop down. We'd push up. They're not going to put Georgia in front of us because we beat Georgia. So we'll move up. Penn State and Indiana do play each other. I said that wrong yesterday. They play each other. Say Indiana pulls one off and beats Penn State. Penn State now has 2 losses. They have 2 losses to the 2 ranked teams on their schedule. They're not going to keep Penn State in front of Alabama. So Alabama moves up even further. So now Alabama's sitting at 7 or 8 potentially. And that's not thinking of any other games that teams in front of Alabama could lose. That'll put Alabama in prime position. Even if we lose, we'll stay in because we're the SEC runner-up and we were far up enough in the polls that they're not going to drop the SEC runner-up even with 3 losses out.
And also, I was thinking, too, we need Vanderbilt to keep winning so that loss doesn't look so bad.
Yeah, and the other thing, Alan, true. And the other thing is, I think you have to look, if they take strength of schedule into play. Right now, Alan, if you look at the teams that have a win in front of Alabama against a top-ranked team, a top 25 team. Now, let that sink in. Oregon has one, which is Ohio State. Ohio State has one, which is Penn State. Texas has one, which is who do they beat?
No, they don't have one.
They don't have one. Indiana doesn't have one. Tennessee has one, which is Alabama. Penn State, I think they may have one. Nobody else in above us has more than one. Everybody, the most anybody has is 2. All the other top 25 teams, 7 top 25 teams have no wins against top 25 teams. We have 4.
Okay.
And so, to me, if you take the runner-up in the SEC, who beat 4 top 25 teams, and they'll end the season most likely with at least 3 top 10 if Vanderbilt were to fall out. But nobody's talking about this. If Georgia beats Tennessee, don't sleep on Vanderbilt against Tennessee. So, in Notre Dame, where they're sitting, if they fool around and lose one, they should fall all the way out the polls because they haven't played anybody. So I think Alabama still gets in if they're the runner-up to the best conference. And the only reason the top teams are where they are, their top teams don't play each other.
Correct.
Correct. Indiana and Penn State, they don't have that mix-up like we do.
Right.
And Texas doesn't have the mix-up like the rest of the SEC. Whoever brought Texas in, they had to have negotiated an easy first-year schedule. They had to.
Right.
Because their schedule.
I think Alabama could beat Texas. I mean, Alabama team. I believe Alabama could beat
100%. 100%.
I mean, right now Texas has a win over Colorado State, Michigan, UTSA, ULM, Mississippi State, Oklahoma, and Vanderbilt. And Florida is, that's their wins. Yeah. So
Right.
So I mean, you none of those teams are ranked except for Georgia. So, and of course
they only played two teams that were ranked at any point, or three teams that were ranked at any point this season. Vandy, Michigan, who has 5 losses. Vandy, don't want to hit on that one too hard because we need them to win out. And Georgia, that's the 3 teams they played that were ranked when they played them. That's it.
And Vanderbilt played them close, beat us and played them close. So there's not this big disparity in Alabama's loss to a common opponent. So, yeah, but, they did still beat them. But we beat Georgia, so you'll take a Georgia win, a win over Georgia, at that time, especially if Georgia wins out. So it's going to be interesting to see. Thanks, Alan.
Right.
Appreciate it, man. Hey, as we get to break here, I want to remind you of one of our new sponsors, Johnson and Marshall Dentistry. Johnson and Marshall Dentistry. You can visit them at Dentist Tuscaloosa, dentisttuscaloosa.com. That's dentist with an S. Johnson and Marshall Dentistry, making sure that you have a healthy mouth, one smile at a time, changing lives. Man, there's nothing like a beautiful smile, and they'll help you discover your smile. If you're looking to get an appointment, go to call 205-349-1000. They're located at 601 Hargrove Road, or you can visit them online and find out about all the other great services they have. That's Johnson & Marshall Dentistry, Johnson & Marshall Dentistry, dentisttuscaloosa.com.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Good morning to you and happy Thursday. Well, we're not looking at any severe delays at this point, at least not quite right now. I do see where McFarland is slowing down just a skosh, and that is in the eastbound lanes just before Bill George Road. Otherwise, traffic on
that. Did you say I just said that? Yeah, I'm cutting you off. I can't have any more? Why not?
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/credit.
Dixie Battery Supply takes care of all of your battery needs. Find the commercial batteries you're after and never feel powerless again. Come check out our Northport and Tuscaloosa locations or call us at 205-758-9190. And once again, power up all your devices by using Dixie Battery Supply, DixieBatterySupply.com. They offer happier.
At RexMD.com, we've made the process fast, easy, and affordable. Visit RexMD.com right now to get started. That's REXMD.com.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Any lingering showers ending early this morning. A clearing sky this afternoon. The high 67. Mostly fair tonight. The low 46. Tomorrow and Saturday, the sky's sunny both days. The high tomorrow 64. The high Saturday at 69. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 63 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show. I want to remind you that tomorrow we'll have our Free for All Friday powered by the pharmacy at Midtown. The pharmacy at Midtown. New patients can call 205-579-9933, and they will welcome you in at the pharmacy at Midtown. They offer compounding services, free delivery, long-term care, medication savings, and a whole lot more. Go to Pharmacy Midtown, pharmacymidtown.com to find out and learn more about the Pharmacy at Midtown, our Free-for-All Friday sponsor. That's the Pharmacy at Midtown.
All right, welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. Been an interesting conversations that we've had today. Before we get a little deeper, we still have Tommy from Romulus on the phone lines. How you doing this morning, Tommy?
I'm doing great. How y'all doing, guys?
Doing great.
I'm doing good.
Well, great. Well, everybody worried about us getting the playoffs, who we're going to play, all this. I just want to win Saturday and take care of business. Everything will fall in place if Alabama take care of business.
Hey, listen. Hey, Tommy.
Yes,
Tommy, if we win, here's the thing. Who would have thought Alabama controlled their own path as far as the playoffs for sure, meaning that if Alabama win, they're in. And if Georgia wins Saturday, Alabama controls their pathway to a top 4 seed in the playoffs. I mean, who would have thought that after losing to Vanderbilt and then losing to Tennessee? You just didn't see how that could happen, and now that's all a reality.
Well, this year,
If we
it's
win.
crazy in football.
If we win.
I mean, every week, there's no guarantee win. Vanderbilt, as we made the joke, is not your daddy or granddaddy football team this year. Vanderbilt has attitude. They have confidence, and they have proven it. They beat Alabama, and they lost 2 close games against Texas and Missouri. I mean, there's no slouch, really, in the SEC. You could say maybe Mississippi State, but really, no. I mean, all right, there's Kentucky beat Ole Miss. Then 2 weeks later, Vanderbilt beat Kentucky. So, I mean, and then beat Alabama. So it's just, no one made it exciting. But, no, we just need to take care of business. I'm not worried about Oklahoma and Auburn. Let's just be worthful and learn our assignment, have the right technique, play freely, and don't get hurt. I mean, right now, Alabama needs to focus on one thing, Alabama, nothing else. And they'll take care of its business. I mean, I know there was a debate beginning last week, end of last week, saying, well, I don't want to go Atlanta, blah, 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 this and this. I'm like, we're not scared of anything that comes in front of us. I'm going to be arrogant. We are Alabama. We are Alabama. And don't forget, because, we are the best. And we strive to be the best. So I have no fear in what we're going to accomplish. Guys. And going on the recruiting thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Tom.
On the recruiting thing, it's the time of the year, getting close to Christmas, and everybody championship going back and forth. That's what a lot of 17-year-old, 18-year-old kids do. So don't get bent out of shape. I mean, really, for some of these people. I mean, so.
Yeah, a 17, 18-year-old, what a 17 or 18-year-old does shouldn't ruin your day.
No.
As an adult, it should not.
Well, just like me being an old goat now, if I got vanilla and chocolate, somebody said, what you going to choose? I said, I'm going to mix them. I'm selfish. I want both. I know that doesn't make no sense, but but hey.
No. Tommy, while we have you, we forgot to ask the first couple calls. Do you have a score prediction for the game Saturday?
Oh, yeah. I'll say Alabama 38, Mercer 16.
Total rushing yards for Alabama.
242.
242. All right, Tommy, we appreciate you calling in.
All right.
Dad, we haven't talked. We've talked about a lot of things from Saturday, but we really haven't talked about the performance Jalen Milroe had Saturday. 185 yards. It was 190 until that last carry, and 4 touchdowns in horrible weather conditions. And he was 12 of 18 throwing the ball. So even when he threw the ball, he was pretty spot on with. He really only had like one bad throw throughout the course of that game with the weather conditions. How impressive was he Saturday as a whole, even with the weather affecting the passing game?
Are you old enough to remember the Dennis Allen rant where he said they are who we thought they were?
Denny Green, yeah.
Denny Green, I mean,
Awesome.
That's what I would say. That's what I would say. Do what, Chase?
That was awesome. I remember that like it was yesterday.
That's what we should play when we talk about Jalen in this Alabama offense. If they call that type of game, it was totally impressive. For the haters, they're gonna drink their haterade and may they have to guzzle it a little bit, and maybe even not choke on it, but where you get a little bit and it go down the wrong pipe. Because it doesn't matter what that kid does for the haters, they're gonna hate. But I was impressed with the way they ran the game plan, and of course, this is what I love about that game plan, X. They did use the running backs in the run game, but what else did they do? They showed running backs don't have to. A pass out in the flat is just a long handoff.
Yeah.
And why coaches don't implement that more? Nobody covers running backs out of the backfield anymore. And when you have a guy like Jalen where they're spying, then you got even more, because either that running back has to go with that running back. that linebacker has to go with that running back or spy Jalen. He just puts you in such conflict when used correctly. So one of the best performances by an Alabama player offensively ever. And I think they said that he tied Shaun Alexander for most 4 touchdown games. And he's, I would not be surprised if he doesn't have, another fourfer of some variety, some combination of passing and running this week.
Yeah, I mean, it was unreal watching that, and just knowing that when he's healthy, that's what you get. When he's at the top of his game, that's what you get. And do I think it's 185-4 on the ground if it's raining? Probably not, because he was throwing dots. Just weather conditions affected the course of it. But you're talking about a game where he had 29 total either carries or passes. He had right up under 300 yards again for the game, and didn't play the last 7-8 minutes of it, and 4 total touchdowns. The conflict, as you said, that he puts defenses in, running the ball and throwing the ball. And when you look at, you talking about 11 carries, 185. I only think he hit the ground once. I don't think he was actually tackled until that final carry where he lost 5 yards. Because you look at the other 10, 4 of them were touchdowns, and he went in standing up. And then how many times did he make a guy miss, stiff arm, and step out of bounds? He might have only touched the ground twice Saturday. I mean, it was just an awesome performance from him and Sheridan and DeBoer, whoever. The game plan was perfect. We talked about it all last week. Do what you did last year. If you do what you did last year, Alabama's going to dominate this game, and that's exactly what we came out and did. And Jalen Milroe, you're talking about the record-setting performance. He's the second Alabama player to ever have 4 touchdowns against a common opponent. He's the first player since I think it was like 92 to have 4 touchdowns against, what was it, 4 touchdowns in the SEC against a common opponent or whatever it was. It was multiple records. He set the record for rushing touchdowns in a single season for Alabama quarterbacks. Most rushing yards since 79 or 76 for an Alabama quarterback. And you're talking about going back to the wishbone era for rushing yards for Alabama. Just an absolute magnificent performance. And I want to see a semblance of it this weekend moving forward and things. And I talk more about that tomorrow, because there were some things that he said that I don't want him to try to force this weekend. But we're going to go ahead and get to break. When we come back on the other side, we'll wrap up this edition of the Martin Houston Show.
Go inside the Alabama Crimson Tide with the Gary Harris Show.
Thursday mornings are one of our favorites on the Gary Harris Show. We're packed with content beginning at 9 a.m. The coach Ellis Johnson on SEC football at 9:30. D. Orlando Ledbetter with the Falcons report at 10. And Jeff Spiegel at 10:30, plus your phone calls. That's the Gary Harris Show, Thursday morning at 9 a.m.
Catch the Gary Harris Show Monday through Friday, 9 to 11 a.m. on Tide 100.9 and Tide100.9.com.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. There is trouble in Cottondale on 2059 near Tuscaloosa Coaling. We do have a report of an accident. And we've also got some slow rolls down here on McFarland. This in Duncanville on the east.
Only here for a limited time. Shop now at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
The Venue, your new favorite Tuscaloosa hangout, food, music, and more. Come and taste what's new at The Venue, whether it's Liza's Sweet Shop, whether it's the all-day breakfast and burgers from Ramajama's, or the quality food that you can get at Finish Pub. Great atmosphere, great time, great people, great environment. That's The Venue. You can find them on...
Yeah, you do. Get Black Friday savings now with free delivery and financing on select appliances this holiday at the Home Depot. Offer valid November 6th through December 4th. U.S. only. See store online for details.
Taco Casa, quality, taste, and value under the biggest cactus in town. They've been doing it the right way each and every day for 50 years and counting. If you're looking for a great option for lunch and or dinner, then you need to check out Taco Casa. Taco Casa, and while you're there, don't forget to get a big glass of that sweet tea. Visit them online at tacocasa.com. That's tacocasa.com. Quality, taste, and value on the biggest cactus in town. That's Taco Casa, tacocasa.com.
It's time for the Martin Houston Show. With the same hard-hitting, no-nonsense approach in which he played the game, Martin will take you inside the locker room, down on the field, and across the goal line with his in-depth analysis.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier as we get ready to wrap up this Thursday edition. We've been talking a lot of things about the Bama football team, but JR had a question where he said he wanted to change the subject and talk about how good Purdue basketball is without their big man, Zach Edey, who's now with the Memphis Grizzlies. I think Purdue just in general is going to be a dominant team. Will they be able to control the paint like they did in the past with a 6'3", 300-pounder? Or a 7'3", 300-pounder? Probably not. But I think you can never discount Purdue and what they do in the Big Ten.
Yeah, and we can dig deeper on this tomorrow, X. But I think Purdue may have a little uphill battle this year because, and we'll talk about what they have tomorrow, but they lost Lance Jones. They lost Zach Edey to eligibility in the NBA. Mason Gillis took his COVID season and went to Duke. Ethan Martin took his COVID year and went to Colorado State. So they have 4 contributors from last year. And I think there's going to be a huge drop-off. Right now it's looking like there's going to be a freshman to replace Edey. He's 7'3", though, but I think he's young. We can talk more about that on tomorrow.
Yeah, and once again, we didn't dig into this much either, but Brian Kelly and his incessant whining and complaining.
He was such a baby. He's such a baby.
If people hadn't seen the clip, it was their last drive when it was 10, 11 seconds left in the game, and we blitzed them and brought 7 or 8. He looks at the ref and goes, "The game's over, and they're bringing 7 guys." Brian Kelly, you left your starters in versus our backup offense and backup defense. So you was trying to and was throwing the ball. And you're inside the 20 and you expect Alabama just to lay down and let you score? I mean, there's a gentleman's agreement in football that when the game's over and the backups come in, you just try to run the clock out, you call it a day. But to leave your starters in and be throwing it, it's kind of disingenuous, and I don't see how you have room to cry about it.
He was crying to the officials, like the officials could come over and tell Alabama to stop blitzing. That was the most amazing thing. Then he whined. The hypocrisy of the to me is so funny. He got fined for using the F-bomb, and now on television, it's almost like they're searching for guys to catch saying the F-bomb, but he got fined for doing it 3 times. I guess he did it too many times in a row. But that's just a joke in the inconsistency of in the NCAA and officiating and et cetera. But if I'm a player or a parent and I saw him, I'd be like, ain't no way I'm letting my child go play for this guy. He is a whiny baby. That's a fireable offense.
It should be, because I was so like, it was frustrating. Just like, why are you complaining when if you're taking your starter out, had your backup in, maybe Bama doesn't blitz, even if you are trying to score.
Right.
But when you leave Lacey and Nuss and all those guys in the game, do not say anything when we've got true freshmen and redshirt freshmen littered across the field, and you've got guys who are going to be playing in the NFL next year still in the game.
Brian Kelly gets the Crybaby Award of the Week. We probably need to make that a regular feature. Brian Kelly definitely gets it. Hey, listen, remember this: trust in the Lord always. Lean not your own understanding, all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. That's Xavier Houston. I'm Martin Houston. That's Chase Brumfield. Thanks to the guys at Houston Hydro Steam for making this show possible. HoustonHydroSteam.com. Roll Tide, everybody, and we'll catch you on tomorrow.